So this is the session where we not only bring the elephant into the room, but the entire zoo. Because important, very important concerns of the publishing industries of the country, piracy and intellectual property related issues, plus the GST. Yesterday we heard that, not yesterday, actually day before, that Mr. Deecee's father had a huge role to play in making books more accessible and tax-free. I think we're going to start with that heartwarming story, and we're going to then go towards the direction where the whole epistemology of taxation around the books changed over a period of time in independent India. We'll start with you, sir.
Thanks, Aditi. In fact, I don't know, it's good or bad, actually. So the current GST regime, which is one of the worst things which has happened to the industry. If you go back to the 1950s, my dad has influenced then government of Travancore Cochin to remove or abolish tax for books in India, in Kerala, actually, Travancore Cochin state. The simple reason was actually the government was getting only small revenue. At the same time, if you remove tax from the books, actually, that more people could access book, more people could buy books, actually. So the government sort of abolished the tax in Travancore Cochin, which then later the Prime Minister of India came to know about it, and he made it as an act of parliament to abolish tax for books in India, which was a major thing for the publishing industry, more for the readers and more for the entire fraternity of the knowledge industry. So now the issue is the other way, actually. I mean, so it continued when the value-added taxes came. Now with the goods and service tax also, it continues. In goods and service tax, actually, it's in the exempted, zero tax category, actually.
NIL is what is
Oh, okay, nil, okay. So the zero tax category. So what does, I mean, from what I know is actually zero tax category means actually you could always tweak it into a 5% tax if you want to. So the biggest issue with this is actually, for publishers like us, royalty is taxable. It was 12% till about a year ago. Now it's 18%. So we pay 18% tax, and there is no RCM, reverse charge mechanism on that. So that means actually, whenever we pay royalty, it can't be collected from the beneficiary, rather the publisher has to pay the tax. So on the other side, we can't take input for that because a book is an exempted category in that list. Same goes for printing and other raw materials as well. The paper has 12% onwards the tax. Other raw materials like plate and other ink and all also has major tax, 12 to 18%. So whatever it's billed to us as a publisher, and if it's a printing, the printer publishes anywhere from 5 to 18% for the printing of the book. So all these taxes, which comes to probably a publisher like Penguin, it'll be about 5 or 8 crores actually in the production costs alone, actually. And whereas the royalty will be another 5 crores or something. So the 10 crores of money, I mean, I'm imagining it's a Penguin or a Harper. So that 10 crores of money, though, we cannot take input, and you cannot pass it on to the customer. And publishing is not a large, I mean, like, you know, publishers, Penguin or Harper, or any publisher for that matter, Vani, Prakashan, or so all of these publishers have big names in the industry, I mean, with the readers. But the market is too small, actually, and the profits are less than 10%. So with the tax being implemented, I mean, onto the royalty and for the other things, and which cannot be taken as an input. So what happens is actually a lot of us have gone into red because we cannot pay this. You know, the profits have come down, or profits have become into loss because of this. Because it's 10 crores or 5 crores is not a small amount, actually. So when we did that, we have filed not a case, actually, but we have filed it with the GST Council in early 2016 or 17, whenever the tax came. So we were fighting with them. Finally, when they didn't agree to it, we had to pay about 38 lakhs of fine on the top of that because we fought the case. So this is the thing actually. I mean, I think a lot of publishers actually, it's going to be a chaos. It's a disaster if it continues like this actually, until unless tax is being charged. I mean, if we can pass it on at least as 5%. So it's a single product. So even if the 18 or 20, 18% or 12% on the taxes being levied on the other products or on the royalty, even if you get 5%, you can pass it on the entire thing because it's a single product kind of. I don't know the exact terminology for that. Because if you're dealing it only with one product, even if it's 5%, you don't have to take it proportionally, you can take the entire thing. So whatever, if the government can allow us to have 5% tax, we can build that into the pricing strategy and we can at least save ourselves to have at least about 5 to 10% profits actually from the industry.
Well, the irony of the situation is that the stationery is selling, the blank notebooks are selling more profitably than the printed books that have taken the entire editorial, marketing, sales team to get it out of the system. Nandanji, over to you. You've seen this entire regime from the VAT to GST journey. How is it going to impact further if it continues to remain like this? Because the paper prices in last 5 quarters have gone up, I think 3 times, and all set for the second half of February. The Singapore imports are going livid because of the global geopolitical confusions. The recycled, upcycled paper is not getting the kind of reviews that we were expecting them to be. So where are we with paper and other things?
So I'll start with tax, GST. So what we have done so far is only taken half measures. I mean, we have taxed the raw material, we have taxed the services, and but there's no GST on books. So ultimately, the result is that the prices will go up, and they have been going up. So who benefits from this? Ultimately, it's the losses to the readers. I mean, they are paying higher price. If one argument is that by adding GST, the books will be higher expensive for the end user. They are anyway expensive now because the prices have gone up. So at least by allowing, as Ravi was saying, some GST component, whether it is 3%, 4%, 5%, if at least that is added, and there are various complications to that and different views on that, but at least that allows the book prices not to go up significantly. At the same time, and we will touch upon that later because Dahlia is here, the piracy will be in check, and that's a major, major problem for us as well. So allowing some percentage on GST is really critical because the costs have gone up. There is no way they are coming down. The only way for publishers to kind of make something out of it is by having some sort of notional tax. Because yes, the paper prices have gone up. It's gone up almost 20-25% in last 2 years, and I hear that they will be going up further towards the end of the year. So yeah, I think the only choice that we have is to have some sort of notional tax, notional GST on books. And the other argument is that, but books are educational, and educational stuff shouldn't be taxed. But hey, I mean, ultimately, even if I'm an educational publisher and I don't put GST in there, the cost of that product, because the raw material has gone up, the prices, the cost of that product will go up anyway at some point, because the publishers will have a finite capacity only to take care of those losses. They can't carry on bearing that forever.
The second round of the discussion would deal with, my question would deal with the taxes on the digital product vis-a-vis the printed. We'll come to that. But before that, I'll go to Dahlia ji, because your expertise is about dealing with the intellectual property and the crimes around it. And you're the person who really gets on the last square of the matter. As we were just discussing before the session, there has been quite a bit of unsettled connotation around this whole piracy gamut, especially in the, I would say, from the Indian languages book selling market. all these red light signals that have those stacks of books, and we see it's right in front of our eyes. And there is this huge, we will say, the black market of books that exists in Bihar, in West Bengal, in Madhya Pradesh, and there is absolutely no way to get hold of it. Is it true that there is no way to get hold of it? Or maybe the industry hasn't understood how to get hold of it?
Yeah. How do I switch this on? You can take this. Okay, am I audible? Hi. Okay. Hi, my name is Dahlia. I'm a lawyer. I deal with intellectual property rights, as I have been introduced, and my expertise is also anti-piracy and anti-counterfeiting. So a little about piracy. We are all worried about it being a headache for the publishing industry. But I also would say it is not just something that is a commercial loss to the publishers. It is also affecting us as a country, as a nation, as a world. Because wherever there is counterfeiting, wherever there is piracy, we would know that here is the underworld funding this entire industry. So if we turn our eyes away, if we turn our backs on piracy, not only is it a commercial loss to all of you publishers, but it is also encouraging child trafficking, it is encouraging black money, it is encouraging corruption, it is giving a pat on the back to all the mafia dons that, hey, you guys are successful, you have created this parallel economy. Now, so piracy is not just affecting publishers, it is affecting all of us here. Now, a student today would know about all the brands, Gucci, Chanel, Prada, they would know all the brands, but they would not bat an eyelid buying a fake Gucci, fake Prada. Because why? Because it's cheap. The original costs 1 lakh, the fake costs 1,000. So I'm going for that. Why? Because I want that brand. They are not happy to carry an unbranded product, even though that would be the original. So this is, I feel that, of course, as publishers, you know what the problem is, but I feel the problem lies also in the lack of awareness, not only amongst publishers themselves, because of maybe not knowing exactly what the laws are, but also amongst the purchasing public, because they feel that, especially when it comes to books, see, if it comes to medicine, they will say, oh, okay, I should not buy a fake paracetamol because it's going to affect my health.
What a beautiful analogy. Yeah. Hats off to you for that.
But when it comes to reading a pirated book or carrying a fake Prada bag, nobody bats an eyelid because nobody knows who's funding it. Nobody realizes that these children at the traffic signals that you talked about, they might be being trafficked. They are being, this extortion, it's exploitation. So nobody's thinking like that. I'll give you a quick example of a recent raid action I did. Anant is sitting here. HarperCollins was also one of the parties. And we did this in the fountain area in Mumbai. There was this stall owner called Mr. Dilip. He was a social media hero. Why? Because he used to sell all books, all, across the board, all books at 100 rupees. So he was a hero amongst all the students. So we decided to raid him. The police was there. We were, carrying that raid action there. And you will not believe it. There were students with 100 rupee notes saying, "Sir, bas ek book de dijiye. Sir, just one book." Okay, so, and I'm standing there and I'm shocked. I'm telling them, do you realize these are pirated books? But they said, one of the students asked, "What's piracy, madam?"
But we are in a country where photocopying of the book is made legal.
Exactly, and you know about that case. You know about the Rameshwari photocopying case. So before we point fingers at the law and the law enforcers, which is really very easy to do, I would say our copyright laws are one of the best. They are solid. We are absolutely with the times. Our courts are very on board. They know what they are doing. The police, not so much. But if you have the right lawyer and you have the right information, then I can guarantee that once you have the awareness and once you know about the laws, you can definitely combat piracy. And of course, more than awareness, because publishers are all aware, I would say joining hands. Publishers should unite, because piracy has to be fought together, not as individual publishers. Okay, today I'm doing a raid action, tomorrow you're doing a raid action. You all have to get together. And then you see how powerful that action is, and just leaving it on the government, leaving it on the lawmakers is not going to cut any ice. We have to take action. All of us have to take action.
It's usually considered to be a very expensive affair to carry out this entire operation, where you have to get a lawyer on board, you have to get the police on board, and then even after collecting
Getting
all the
police on board should not be expensive, because we are not paying the police. You're only paying the lawyer.
But to get the FIR even lodged, it's a first-hand experience. It's my
You were just
space from
talking
where-
about
from
it.
where
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
it. Even to get the FIR lodged, I think it's the whole question of awareness comes over and over again, because even the police sometimes feels that what is the veracity of this crime, because both the books almost look the similar.
No, not almost. They might be absolutely similar. So copyright
so they
is...
don't understand the...
Yeah, no, so copyright is where is it originating? Where is it originating? So you as the publisher say, look, this is my printer. He or she, they are the only authorized printers who can print this book. So whoever else is printing the book, regardless of the quality of it, it may be the best quality, it may be better than your quality, but I did not give the right for that printer to print. So that in itself is copyright violation, because for copyright infringement to exist, you have to establish that you did not give permission. And the moment you don't give permission, there's a violation.
Raviji, how have you dealt with the menace of copyright infringement, not only on the printed format, but also on the digital format, number one? Number two, how has, I mean, we are talking about this whole question of awareness amongst the various civic bodies that are supposed to help in curbing this entire situation. How has Kerala's civic bodies responded, and any level of insensitivity anywhere?
You know, with the lawmakers or with the even judiciary, I mean, I don't want to mention this, but once one of the judiciary person actually asked me if I can give a copy of the Windows software to put it on his computer. So, I mean, that's the kind of awareness we have it with the judiciary as well. So, that's also an issue. I mean,
Well, a lot of universities in the name of ebooks are also asking for
that's right.
PDFs.
So that's the first thing, actually. Second is, we don't have much of piracy, or we don't have any piracy happening with the Malayalam books across Kerala, because, I mean, we take strong legal action, and the government is quite supportive in that. So we have the cyber, we have the intellectual, I mean, the piracy, anti-piracy, IG, actually, all this, actually, they come into thing. Cinema is one thing, actually, which has been more effective in Kerala with the piracy, actually. Then again, printed books in Malayalam. But what happens with the other books, actually, be it the academic or the general, there's plenty, actually. I mean, so I think I worked with Penguin and Harper at times, actually. When the Harry Potter came out in the market, actually, usually what happens, within about 24 hours, the market gets flooded with the pirated copies, actually. But we were able to keep it away for at least about a week to 10 days so that we could make the money out of it. So what I'm trying to say is actually only 10 days is when we can get the money. By that time, again, the piracy happens, and actually Harry Potter gets bought half the price or one-third of the price. And it's not easy for a publisher from Delhi to handle this in other parts of the thing, unless we have some change in the amendment in the law where they can probably, the public public at large can probably handle this actually without even getting the publisher on board for the action. Second, yeah.
So yeah, so no, I just wanted to say that we call it preventive anti-piracy campaigns. What you just said, that if a big title is just going to come into the market, then my clients would just come to me and say, okay, can we just stop this for 1 month? So we do that, and you're right, it's a time-bound thing. But here is why it is important to keep doing those actions, so that you're not just talking about that one title, which is very important to you, but all the other titles also get covered, which is why this individualistic, probably these individual actions need to be now discouraged, and the joint actions should be encouraged.
No, totally agree. I mean, only thing is the publishers have to, unite and do something
Absolutely.
about it, actually. That's what.
Absolutely, yeah.
Other thing is actually, I mean, we don't have much of a Malayalam piracy, but in print, actually. But otherwise, in audio as well as there's a lot of things happening, actually. The moment a book is out, actually, somebody takes a PDF and puts in the groups, WhatsApp groups, another thing. Second is the Telegram is another major hassle, actually. Telegram, it's tough to trace. Then there's a lot of other platforms. Then audio, I mean, now that the trend is actually, because of the ignorance of law, a lot of people are doing the piracy in audio books. So what we are doing is now is actually we have appointed a agency, actually. They're based out of Delhi. It's called Delhi. So they do the watchdog kind of thing, and they let us know every week, actually, what's getting pirated into audio or as well as in ebook, actually. That's one thing. Second is, God knows we have more than about 100 cases, actually, we have filed in the local police station on the piracy, whether it happens in PDF or in audio. And once in 2017, we brought a guy from, from Dubai, actually. When we went to Dubai to file a case, because he had 140 books in Telegram. We tried to trace this person. We told him to get these off the thing. He didn't, actually. Then we filed a case with the Dubai police. Dubai police didn't want to file a case as such because they want to have less number of cases, actually. So they didn't bother about it. So we went to the company. We watched him for about a week. Then we realized he was in a Belgium. The company was a Belgium agriculture company. We wrote to the company in Belgium because the European companies honor these kind of things. They asked him to. We had the Kerala police writing to the Belgian company as well. So they asked the guy to go back to Kerala and abide by the law. By that time, we had a lookout notice by the government of India. When he came to Coimbatore airport, we arrested him and we brought to the law. The case is still being there.
So see,
we
the
have more than
police
100
is
cases,
helpful,
actually.
the government is
Absolutely,
helpful.
that's right.
Nandanji, the piracy on the marketplaces, it is very, very difficult to trace because, especially with the Indian book distribution system, where many of there are designated sellers, but there are also those non-designated sellers that are completely in that gray area where we don't know who it is, and there is absolutely no way to trace them. How do you deal with situations like that?
So, sorry, this is working, right? Yeah. So the biggest platform, Amazon, we work closely with them. They have some tool, brand protection tool, with which we are managing to take out a lot of pirates and pirated sellers. But it's not enough. What we've seen, and this is only with Amazon, there are so many other online platforms which have come up. There are people selling, creating websites, selling on social media, sending WhatsApps, etc. So it's never going to be enough till the online platforms are also part liable, which unfortunately is still not the case with us in India. So that's what I feel. But at the moment, it's a whack-a-mole kind of thing. You spot something, you just take care of it there and then. But yeah, it does take, let's say, a day or 2 days or 3 days to take out that seller on the platform, which means you still are losing that particular sale or revenue for that period till he's around or the person is around, the seller is around. So yeah, I mean, at the moment, as I said, it's a whack-a-mole. You spot something, you take care of it, and you continuously engage with the platforms to make them understand what they're doing, how they can probably initiate a little more stringent checks before they put on these resellers on their platform. But it's work in progress. It's a long fight.
Yeah, I just want to add here that whatever is available on Amazon and Flipkart, the physical books, all these online platforms, again, these are pirated books being sold in Daryaganj. So the need of the hour is to go and kill that source so that if these very, young students, they go and pick up 5 books and they sell it, they're just trying to make a quick buck. They may not be these horrendous pirates that we always picture that, these are these habitual offenders. They could be just young students trying to make a quick buck. So if you take away the source, then this problem will also go away to a certain extent.
I think we can open this session and bring the audience in. There are comments, questions, anecdotes, stories, thus to share. Great then. We are looking at piracy and GST. It's very
I just want to
one-side
add something,
traffic.
actually. The audio piracy is actually becoming more rampant now. Like, I mean, it's happening from some of the major aggregators as well. I mean, even the aggregators. What happens is actually, I mean, like a book which we have not given the right for audio, they make it in 12 or 15 episodes, that's 15 hours. And they say it's a summary, actually. How can a 15 hours can be a summary of a book? I mean, that's again a copyright violation.
That's absolutely a violation.
That's what
Yeah,
I mean.
absolutely.
It's not 2 paragraphs or whatever.
20% of it is usually.
Even 20 is not.
The law doesn't say anything.
But that's a
So
good,
I just, yeah.
good
But
use,
the
good
industry
faith quality.
practice is not even 20%, is about 10%, because we are just following case law that has internationally been established. But there is no law in India which says how much. So the Copyrights Act says that substantial copying. So substantial copying actually could also be one line. Because if it is giving away the source, that is copying.
But that the fair use policy and everything, it's
Fair
such a,
use,
it's a slippery term.
Fair use doesn't hold on anything which is a commercial product. Fair use is only you and I talking like this, or a teacher imparting education. That is fair use. A newsreader.
That's education.
That is, yeah,
because,
newsreader.
Because when Google Playbook started their ebook platform, they said 18 to 22% of the entire text would be made available for free under fair use.
No, it cannot be fair use. It cannot be, because Google would be charging a sum for it.
Yes.
And yeah, so wherever the economy, wherever commerce is involved, it ceases to be fair use. Only for imparting, like I said, those categories. That's only for that. Like for instance, we are sitting here today, but if you were to record this and start, this interaction that we are doing, and start selling it at some platform to say, okay, these are the laws, and this is
behind
what
a paywall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then it becomes an infringement, and you would, in any case, need all the speakers' consent to broadcast this further. So I got a waiver form signed, and she got that signed, and then I just signed it blindly, and she said, "Don't you want to read it?" And I said, "Oops, I'm a lawyer. I should have at least read it." So yeah, so that waiver form. So the moment it comes under the realm of commerce, it ceases to be a copyright. She has a question.
Thank you so much. Just talking about the digital space, and when we look at other places where there's possible copyright infringement, something like music, for example, the process to copyright it is pretty straightforward. The artist uploads their music, or the label, or whoever, and then because it's distributed across particular controllable platforms like YouTube also, and because all of it is comparable data, right? If a song is copied, it is the same thing. Immediately YouTube auto flags it. It's not even a person process. So I'm just wondering if there are these specific platform-based processes that could help with the digital space to take learnings from other spaces beyond book publishing.
No, absolutely. But problem here is because, like she was mentioning outside, that even the police did not know. They posed her a question as to when it comes to book piracy, especially. There are 2 books looking identical. There is something called deceptive similarity in IP trademark law, and then there is something called counterfeiting. Now, deceptive similarity means that it kind of looks like your product, and counterfeiting means it is your product. So what do you do when it is your product? When there is a change in lyrics, when there is a change in the tune, you can make that out. You're talking about checks and balances. Yeah.
I'm not talking about copyright infringement, but
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
say, on YouTube, I take an artist's song, I put it on my video
Yeah.
for commercial purposes, whatever. If I use beyond a certain amount of that music,
Yeah.
YouTube flags it. If I make any profit, it goes directly a certain cut of it or whatever. There's like a percentage which goes to the artist.
Because
right?
those songs have been registered with YouTube and they are being paid a royalty.
But it's not just YouTube. It's
Yeah,
not like
all
the
these
artist.
platforms,
So that's
yes.
what I'm saying. I wonder if just purely in the digital realm, because in the digital realm you have the possibilities to say this set of data things, which is a book, which comes with certain encryption, certain code, purely like looking at technological possibilities.
Absolutely. For digital
that go
piracy,
past
yes.
the government,
Absolutely.
past the police, all of that. Because then, if it's repeated as is, then you know that, hey, there's a copy of this here.
Absolutely.
So I'm just wondering if there are, possibilities of exploring.
No, there is. So you see the plagiarism tools that students use. So that is already there. Those checks and balances are already there. But if we are like you, I'm just, even the digital piracy that you're talking about. So we go to the IPR cell in the say the Delhi police. We log a complaint with them, and they are able to take it down. It's not that they are not able to. It's just that it is very difficult to keep chasing those servers, keep chasing those counterfeiters, because today they are using one server, you bring that down, tomorrow they'll use another server. So it's a completely different animal. So we have to create solutions accordingly.
To some extent, IRRO does that.
Yeah.
IRRO.
Yeah.
reprograms.
No, so exactly, they do that. But what I'm trying to say is that, for the digital piracy, but problems comes when there is a physical book on the platform, on Amazon, on Flipkart. And it is very difficult also, I'm sorry to be talking, in favor of all these platforms, but it's very difficult sometimes for them also to run a check and balance as to what is pirated and what is not. I mean, how do they know? A book is coming to them which looks like an exact replica of, say, a White Tiger or any other book. So how are they to know that this person is not a legitimate, authorized? Only the publisher will know, which is why, at least for printing, as a publisher, that is a very fair thing to immediately tell the police that we have not authorized this printer. As simple as that. And copyright infringement occurs the moment someone does something without permission.
And hence, if you add GST to books,
And we come back to GST.
it will make the pirates go away, because they will have to file those quarterly reports and whatever compliances, etc. And the platforms also will be breathing with a sigh of relief that they don't need to do an extra check. They know that all these sellers are now GST compliant and they are selling genuine books, because otherwise it's a lot of work for a pirate to do
Already,
all of that.
And
Especially with the Raja Ram Roy library system issuing the ISBNs,
Yeah.
meaning they have this whole repository of information about the publishers who are requesting the ISBNs. Now they want the book cover, author's bio, profile, everything before issuing the ISBN. So I think if something creatively could be done to connect this repository with the digital sellers, it's wishful thinking, but then all the checks and balances have been taken care of on that platform. So we just have to use that data.
Yeah, I just want to give an example of this person called Pandey, who sits in Delhi's Daryaganj. He actually sits right opposite the oldest police station of Delhi. And he's selling,
Hamdard Dawakhana ke
he's-
bagul mein.
he has been arrested 6 times. Thrice by me, my firm, and thrice by another law firm. This person has gone to jail 6 times, but he's sitting there in broad daylight, selling about 15 to 20,000 books in front of the police thana. He has a youth store. Yes. So, ab kya karo? So, like you said, GST, once that guy starts having to do all these compliances, because see, he is completely besharam. Some people are actually scared of going to the jail, but this guy doesn't care. So how do we make him care? By some kind of a monetary hit.
Make it difficult for them.
Yeah, make it
That's
difficult for
all
him.
we
It's
can
too
do.
easy. It's just too easy.
So I'll take the closing remarks, starting with you, Raviji.
On the GST front, I think unless the government do something, we should probably have a mechanism of having some free gift added to that, whether you can charge 5%, actually, there's a law. So I think that's a solution to it. That's a solution to it, actually. You put a metal bookmark and you charge the metal bookmark, then you can charge 5%. So I think we should evolve a mechanism, something within the law to overcome, the book plus, actually, that's sort of overcome that, actually. So that's a solution I was thinking when I was sitting here. On the piracy, of course, the fraternity has to unite and do the things, actually, and some of this, on the piracy front, I think the major challenge now is actually, along with the print, the electronic, digital it's rampant, actually. I mean, for a market like ours, it's a very captive, closed market, actually. If you get one copy copied, it goes actually across in each group, actually. Some of these readers group has 200,000, 300,000 members, actually. If you put one in that, it gets into every single reader who we wish to sell, you know. So that's a challenge, actually, we need to address. Thank you.
Dahlia ji, closing remarks from you.
Okay, I like I said, we need to create awareness, and we need to, as people like your Judge Saab who wanted a copy. It's not that he doesn't know. It's not that he doesn't know what he's doing is wrong. It's just that we don't want to pay for the original. We always want a cheaper shortcut. So we as a people, we as a nation should stop taking shortcuts, not only because it's causing commercial loss to a handful of people, but like I said, it's also funding the mafia, it's funding the underworld. And we should do, at least, first of all, at our level, say no to piracy. That is the biggest message we can send across. Say no to piracy. And that's my closing remark. Say no to piracy.
Thank you so much. Nandan ji.
No, I agree with both of you. On GST, you know, till we have some relief, the prices will go up. The prices will go up, which means the piracy will go up as well. So it's interlinked. You can't, you can't ignore or you can't think that they are not, linked, but they are. So yes, till the time that is not there, some sort of notional amount, notional percentage as GST should be allowed for publishers to at least have the input tax credit. And the other is on piracy. It's a joint effort, as you're saying. It has to be a joint effort. Publishers have to come together, but it also needs to start at the very basic level. We need to have again, it's a long fight. What we need to do is make deterrents, make it difficult for people, pirates, but also appeal to the hearts and minds of people, make them aware of what piracy is, how to differentiate between a pirated book and a genuine book, and what exactly are they doing when they're buying a pirated book, and so various campaigns, etc., that can be run. But ultimately, the publishers will have to come together to continuously take action, because ultimately, however long the fight will be, we need to do this to create the deterrence so that these guys know that people are looking at them, people are watching them, and this will be taken care of at some point.
Yeah, they should be scared. They should be scared.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think I was hoping that if Colonel Malik were to join us today, we could have taken certain things to the right authorities. But I hope that the digital version of this discussion would reach him and we'll be able to have a representation with him soon. So thank you so much. Ji Manisha ji. Yes, please. Yes, please.
I mean, if we have to
Yaksh
act like a
prashna
law.
hai,
Laksh prashna.
Yakshna prashna.
Yaksh prashna hai. Okay. Yaksh prashna from the Mahabharata.
It's a question
So,
that is a very
I mean, there
difficult
must be
question
existing
to be
platforms where
answered.
people can come together. This is a knowledge-based community where it's not that difficult. The available means for redressal are clear to us even from this short discussion, where Dahlia says, come together and fight piracy, be proactive in particular ways. So what is preventing the larger mainstream publishers in any language at all to sort of come together as a lobby and lay down certain protocols that will be followed and possibly enlist the services of
Probably
Dahlia
because
and
there
Dahlia
are
Plus?
there are too many federations in the country. Too many federations.
Let's start with one.
So
right?
Federation of Indian Publishers and Booksellers, they had a conference around it, and but then what happens is this. For example, XYZ publishers are a part of this federation. X publisher has a problem. He or she takes it to the federation. The federation says, okay, but is there anyone else also who has a problem? They said not now, and then it just goes to the cold storage.
Also, Manisha, some publishers feel that
It has happened.
their books are not pirated as much as somebody else's books,
So if it's a
because
common pool-
they may have a majority. So it all comes back to how much someone has to pay. So it just boils down to money. And I repeatedly say that it is not expensive. It is really not expensive to do these raid actions, because if more people join in, the share really goes down. But it's just that thing of yaksh prashna, कि वो सब लोग साथ कैसे आएं, एकजुट कैसे हों.
So maybe make a start today.
Yeah, today. we begin today.
We should. Long time. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.